Okay, so we'll start with the picture and we'll see if you can recognize maybe what the values will be, and then we'll try applying that. So first of all, when you hear alternate interior angles, I'll just remind you guys about the terminology. So for the first one, let's label this. This here would be my transversal. And this is the interior. Or the inside, and this would be the exterior or the outside. That'll help you understand where this terminology comes from. Now, I'll show you what alternate interior angles look like. For example, these are alternate interior angles. So alternate because they are on different sides of the transversal. Okay? Interior because both angles are inside the parallel lines. So what I call this is a Z angle because it looks like a Z. Okay, so that's how I remember when I'm looking for it. This is when I'm looking for a Z. Here. So let me just explain to you why it is that those two angles are equal. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wipe this picture clean so we can explain it. These two angles are called what? Corresponding angles. And how are these two related? Vertically opposite. So that means all three of these angles are equal. So then if all three of them are equal, then I only need two of them. So those would be the two that are from our alternate interior angles, which are equal. Okay? One shorthand that you'll notice when angles are equal, they'll put a little tick through them like that to say that they're equal. Okay, so if you see that in your pictures, you can, that'll mean that they're equal. If there's more than one pair, then they might use two tick marks, just to say these correspond to everybody with two tick marks. Okay. Now, alternate exterior angles. So if I was to, let's just number these. Okay, which ones are the exterior angles? 1, 2, 7, 8 are exterior. Okay. So can somebody take a guess which they think are alternate exterior angles? Can you tell me a pair? 1 and 8 are, yes. There's also 2 and 7. But, oops. There we go, okay. So this angle corresponds to this one. And so does this angle correspond to this one. So what I'll show you, basically what you've done is, if you were to draw your Z, then these ones must be equal because they're vertically opposite to these two that are equal. So that's what you're trying to apply is, now that you can recognize a Z, you should also be able to find the ones that are vertically opposite to them. So they're here and here. So you don't really need a separate rule. It just means if you were looking to figure out what those angles were, you could use the vertically opposite to find out that they're the same. Okay, and then the last one is a C angle is what I call it. And I'll draw it for you just so you can visualize it. So that's the C angle.
I don't get what I'm supposed to draw.
Oh, and the second one? Yeah, here, maybe I'll make it a little clearer. It's the outside ones here. These black angles would be the exterior that are alternate. Thank you, Tim. So we're going to move into these C angles. And a C angle, the rule is, if I call this angle 1 and angle 2, angle 1 plus angle 2 adds up to 180 degrees. It may not be, super obvious to you when you look at it that that would happen, but let me show you how we could prove it fairly easily. So if I draw the Z angle that we already talked about, I know that angle 2 equals angle 3. Okay. And if I draw the other Z angle in this picture, which goes this way, then angle 1 equals angle 4. And I know that angle 3 plus angle 1 is a straight line, and so is angle 4 plus angle 2 a straight line. But because I can pick any one I want here, 2 and 3 are the same, I'm going to make a change. And I'm going to use angle 2 instead, because they're equal. Okay? So that gets me the same thing we started with. And for you, just to make it the clearest in your notes, you probably only need the red ink that I've got on here. So I'll tidy some of this up so that you can just keep the part that's... Here, I'll just go over it thick. I'll just go over it thick. There. Is that better? Okay. Oh, the purple dot. Okay. There you go. So these are the three things that we're going to try to work with when we look at our new set of questions. I'll just show you guys again that it's possible to see this again in Geogebra. Your favorite new word for the day? Yeah, I'll show you with the software here. So for a Z angle, if I want to move these angles around, so now they're 80.22, 80.24, and if I keep moving this along, you'll see 49.22. Just about everywhere I go, they're going to be the same. I can even move the other lines, and now they're both 89.5, 84. So no matter where I move those points, as long as they're parallel, these ones called alternate interior, also a Z angle, would be the same. What I'll do here is I'll show you the other angle, which is this side. So it's this one, oops, from here, and we'll get a measurement. So right now, I've got, say, well, let's make it 71 and 110. Wherever I end up moving them to, they should add up to 180 degrees. So for example, now they're both 66 and 114. You add the two numbers together, you'll keep getting up to 180. Okay, so it's time to go hunting. A, B, C, D. Can anybody hunt for one of those letters for me? Tell me how you knew what the value would be.
150 for A, because it's,
So, hang on a second. This is, I think you guys were looking down here.
Oh.
Yeah, no problem. So A, B, C, or D. You don't have to think about it in order.
B is
Okay, so B is 110. How did you get 110 for B? That's correct. Yeah, they're exterior opposite. So let me just in case you're wondering, there's more than one way to get these answers. As long as your reason is valid, that's good enough. It doesn't have to be the same for everyone. For example, you could also get B in a couple of steps. So maybe in your head it took you a couple steps to get it. That's fine, as long as you can tell me why. So exterior opposite gets you there in one shot, and that is correct. What else do we have for A, C, or D?
110 for A.
Okay, so how did you get 110 for A? Vertically opposite? Yeah, we could call them vertically opposite. What else could we call them? They're corresponding angles too, so I'll remind you about that. Remember, we did that one in the last, there's the F angle there. So they also are corresponding. C and D are alternate interior, that's right. So what do you know about C and D?
They're the same.
They'll be the same, okay? And how do you get one of those angles?
What?
Okay, so you went, where did we use this one here? So that would have to be 70 degrees in the middle, because 110 degrees plus angle C is 180. So angle C is 70. And we've already said that angle C and D are the same because they are a Z or alternate interior angles. Good. Okay, so that was our kind of warm-up one. This is the one I'm going to have you work on amongst the people you sit with. So I'm going to leave it here for you guys to practice, and we'll review it together. If you haven't seen this kind of notation, angle WYD, if you follow it, goes WYD. So we're talking about this one. So you just follow it in the order that you see it. No, you don't have to draw it, but you do have to find it. Okay, so can anybody tell me what WYD is? 90 is correct. How come?
Because it's a right angle.
What letter are you using? F, C, or Z? A C, okay. So this would be your C. And what do you know about angles inside the C? Angles for an F are the same. Yeah, because you can draw a C that looks like this, right? And those two angles here are not the same. So they have to add up to 180. So 90 plus 90 gives me 180. Okay, so that one, yep, it's 90 degrees. How about YDA? So YDA would be this one. What do you think? What would YDA be? Alex, help us out. How did you know that? Yeah, so corresponding, remember corresponding, which letter does that go along with? F, C, or Z? F. Yeah, so there's an upside down F here. Let's see here. You could do a C, but then you first would have to find that this is 65. Right? That's 65. Now you can use a C, right? Whereas an F, we can get it right away. So yeah, but that's right. It would be 115, and we've just talked about a few different ways to get it. All right, DEB. So DEB is this one. DEB. Can anybody find DEB? How about somebody up at the back there? How about any volunteers? Actually, guys, we talked about this at the back. Can you help us out?
What, are we doing DEB?
We are, yeah. 80, awesome. Yeah, so when you hear alternate interior, what's the letter you're thinking of? It's a Z. So let's draw the Z so people can see it. Okay, and then the last one we're asked about is EFS. So let's put EFS in. Okay, what could EFS be? 45. Yeah, 45 is correct. How did you know it? Yeah, it's the outside part of a Z. It's alternate exterior angles. Okay, so believe it or not, if you feel comfortable here, this is where we're going to leave it for today, are these last three. So again, I'd like you to work it out together, and we'll review them as a class. So in this first one, X, Y, or Z, X, Y, or W, which one would you like to tell me about? Yeah, let's go with W first because that's an easy one to explain right away. So how do you know it's 120 degrees? Vertically opposite, thank you. Now what about Y or X? Which one would you like to find? France, go for it. X is how much? How come? So these two have to add up to 180, and that looks like a C angle, okay? And then the last one is Y. What's the value for Y? You've had your coffee this morning. I'm going to let someone else participate. Go for it, Tim.
60.
How come?
Because it's corresponding.
It corresponds to X, which is an F angle. You could also be a little simpler about it as well and just say it's on a straight line, so that 180 degrees between 60 and 120. Okay, B is a little tougher, so let's see how far you got there. Could anybody come up with one of those angles, A through F? Yeah, which one did you come up with first here in part B? A. Okay, so what did you come up with for A? 112 is correct. How come? Say it again? They're corresponding. Yeah, I'll show you the angle here. This is the F angle that you're drawing. Okay. So that's one thing you could have come up with right away. Anybody else have another one that they got? D is? How come? Vertically opposite, that's right. Anything else? Paul? How come? No problem. Can someone help him out? Vertically opposite is the term for it, yeah. So, looks like we just need C, B, and F. Did anybody find C, B, or F? Sure, Kelsey. C is 68. How come? Yeah, we're on a straight line there. Okay. How about B or F? Let's see who's gonna help us out there. Yeah, sure, go for it, Carol. B and F are 55. Yep, that's correct. Can you tell me how you got? Say, how do you know that F is 55? Yeah. So here's the F angle. Or some of you might have seen this instead, right? You might not have seen the F. You might have seen the Z. That's fine too. Okay, and you're correct that B is 55 because they're vertically opposite. Okay, so I'll just give you another minute or two if you haven't already done the last one. All right, so who would like to contribute here for these letters? Any? A through G. Okay, Paul? That is correct. D is 48 because it is corresponding with this angle here. Okay, what else could we come up with? Sure, Alex. E is 132. How'd you know that? Yeah, so these angles here make up the C angle. They're supplementary, meaning they add up to 180. Okay, another angle? Yeah.
G is 132.
Okay, how come?
Because it's a C angle that goes like that.
Yeah, so there's a C angle here. Can anybody else explain how it's 132? Another reason? Well, there's an upside down F there we could use as well. Okay, A, B, or C? Oh, it looks like we need, sorry, somebody said F was vertically opposite 132. So A, B, or C? Go ahead. So A is what, sorry? A is 48? 48? Okay, how did you know it was 48?
Because
48's correct. How come?
it's or no. Yeah, no.
Can you give me a letter? Give me a letter to get us started.
A Z.
You're seeing a Z? So,
Actually, no, I'm not. Never mind.
I'm seeing
things.
an F? Okay, an F I can see as well.
That's what I meant.
So I see the F there. That gets me 48. I do see a Z that'll help me find one of those letters. Can anybody...
A Z. Oh wait, no. Where's the 48?
B or C? What are they worth? Yeah, Kelsey. C is 48. How come?
Oh,
Yeah, we can use the Z right here.
yeah, there you go. There.
Okay. These two make up an F. So that's a new letter of the alphabet called a Zeph. And the final one, the B.
Oh, it's 48 because it's an F.
It's an F angle, yeah.
Yes.